What's going on, everyone? I wanted to do a very quick video for the dots bias indicator on Friday, January 30th, NASDAQ price action, which I say all the time, trash can, Oscar the Grouch, trash can price action. However, if you use the dots the way that I wrote them, the way that they are meant to be used, yes, they help with bias, and then you can backtest and use your own entry functions to trade in the direction of the bias. But also, when the dots are mixed, do nothing. That's something I say in the Discord a lot, on Twitter, for the dozens of people who read what I write. When the dots are mixed, do nothing. And when the dots are mixed, but you still want quality or more probable than not setups, you can use other factors, other confluences, something like the NQ stats, probable Chris, his data. There are hourly midpoints, Dokakari on Twitter that you can use. So this is how I would have used, or how I did use the dots on Friday. So coming into the day, I'm not going to do a market replay. I'm just going to do an overview of how the day went. We have Asia in blue, London in this, I guess, yellow orangish color. So there were mixed signals here. I forget which ALN profile on NQ stats this is, but essentially when London partially bearish engulfs Asia, there's a low expectation for London. Not sure exactly what the numbers are, but how I looked at that is counter to when price closes in London in the upper 50%, over 15 years of data, there's a 70% chance that this high will get tagged. So that is against this. So when confluences are mixed like that, I tend to sit on my hands. I like to have confluences in my favor. And then there is the 7 o'clock midpoint. You take the high at 7, the low at 7. There's like an 80-odd% chance that if the low gets swept, you'll retrace back to the 50%. So that lines up with this 70% against this. So I don't know. You have to do your own judgment. Ultimately, the midpoint gets hit. The London high gets hit. Neither here nor there. So how it relates to the dots. So at 9:45, we had Chicago PMI, which is not red folder, but just from the years of me trading with the dots, I don't like to do anything prior to that. I like to wait 9:40 till 9:45 because basically I've lost money trading dots before 9:45 if the Chicago PMI is then. So I just decided not to do it. So there was a couple columns of green dots here. We had a very quick run to the Asia high here, which was like 20 points. I think someone in the room, maybe Ken, got a quick little scalp here, but not a probable setup. So after that, dots are mixed. And so I say this all the time, when dots are mixed, do nothing. Just price just folding on top of itself. Can't go high, kind of goes low. So 10:30, we use initial balance data from probable Chris, NQ stats. So basically, when price closes in this case, the lower half of the first hour opening range, I think it's 74% odds that the low will get tagged before the high. And you can see 10:30, we trade up, dots are mixed, and right here we get a little blip of green dots. And I'll tell you why this should have been avoided. Again, because the odds are favoring the initial balance low. But if you took something like this, this is your out. And again, this this would have been against initial balance low target, but green dots, that's where the short-term momentum should be. They don't work all the time, obviously. But say you took a one dot entry function here and you were looking for, you would have been looking for more than that high, but whatever. Say you're looking for 28 points. So you enter one dot entry function, you enter here. This is your first red flag. So you have a high here, you have a high here. This wick, I call that a failure to close. The fact that we could not displace above this high nor this high is a red flag. Could you flatten it? Backtest to figure that out for yourself. Would have been a very minimal loss. Say you held on to it. We have a little fair value gap right here for all you ICT nerds. Holding, holding, holding. We close below it here. When we close below this fair value gap, this becomes an inverted fair value gap, but I no longer like this trade. So 30 points, whatever. I'm not sure what the ATR was at the time, but you're out. That's fine. If you take it, losses are losses. No biggie. And you can see this is midnight. We kind of come back. Dots are mixed. So again, I'm looking to do nothing. The dots are looking for momentum, and you can see this day was just a mean reverting day, which is the opposite of what I look for with the dots. So could have hypothetically had some kind of trade to the IV low, which is where the stats were. But regardless, dots are mixed. I'm doing nothing. And then you can see dots turn red during lunch. We got a nice little sell-off there. Then again, dots are red. I'm going to get a sell-off here. So the dots did their job on Friday. Do you have the discipline? Do you have the patience to sit through all that Oscar the Grouch trash can price action? That's the key. If you take a stop out, can you eat it? Are you making sure you're under leveraged to live the fight another day? Again, if you take a stop, that's the keys. The dots didn't fail on Friday. If you have the discipline to wait, there were setups to be had. But this whole morning session was essentially hands off for me. Again, dots are mixed, do nothing. So this setup would have been avoided because IV low was the target. And ES made a high here. I actually took ES long to initial balance high. But that's neither here nor there. So there's a divergence here. And yeah, so kind of losing it. I don't know how to edit videos. So this is kind of me rambling at this point. But not a great day for price action. But dots, if you use them as a bias indicator, the dots were mixed. And so price action was neutral. Nothing really to be done as far as the dots are concerned. But it's good to have other things like NQ stats to help you with targets. And you can see price made a high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So this is just classic price action. You can see that finally we're out of this chop. And you get red dots here in direction of this little move. So again, patience pays, discipline pays. The dots, when the dots are mixed, do nothing. And that's that. So hope that helps. Feel free to ask any questions if you have them. See you around.